Just last month in June, we saw the Singapore banks DBS, OCBC and UOB selling down by close to 5% on some uncertainty in the markets and with US markets selling down as well. But over the past weeks, it seems like all of them have woken up, right? It seems like they are attempting to push to a new high. So as we begin the second half of 2025, can there be more upside in the three banks, DBS, OCBC and UOB? Or do you want to be careful and maybe take some profit because we may see a potential retracement? Let's dive into the charts of these three banks right now and see how it looks like based on my one good trend strategy, and also how it looks like on my indicator, whereby we can turn it on and see if there are any bullish or maybe bearish signals coming out over the past weeks. Let's go and find out. So let's dive into the very first bank today, and that would be DBS, right? DBS right here trading at about $46.28. So let me just zoom in. You can see that somewhere around June or mid of June, right, we actually sold off quite heavily by about 3 to 4 to even 5% from like about $45.30 all the way to even below that $44, right? So a bit of a sell down as market weakened due to some uncertainty due to Trump tariffs, right? But what happens, right? We saw a pretty good reversal candle right over here, and it rebounded all the way, and it seems like right now we are pretty much at a record high for DBS. So what is the outlook? So let me just go to draw this very, very key resistance level that I talk about. I think that would be the $45.50. So remember, right, when we talk about DBS, I talk about this very key resistance level that we've been trading below since like beginning of 2025. Look at this, right? We just kind of like touched this 45.50. We sold off. Same thing over here. We had a bearish candle. We sold off again. Over here as well, we sold off again. And 45.50 was a very critical, I would say, resistance level that, we could see selling coming back again as long as we neared it, right? And that's where we could even see a potential retracement back down, like we have seen somewhere in February, somewhere in March, and even in June, right? But what has happened is that over the past few trading days, we saw some really good bullish price actions in DBS, right? So look at this right over here, right? Today, the price is 46.27. So you can see over the past few days, we have actually broken above the $45.50 and even the $46 psychological resistance have given way as well. All right, so you can see that for DBS, I mentioned that the longer term trend is up. Just look at the red 100 days moving average line and even the blue 200 days moving average line. It's been up since like, last year, I would say 2024, beginning of 2024. So longer term trend is up. Of course, in the short term, we did see a couple of selling. Look at this right over here. That was like in July. We sold off even in March and April when Trump introduced tariffs, right? We sold off as well. But after the sell-off, buyers came back and we start to push even higher. Why? Because, well, the longer-term trend is up, right? So as the short-term trend reverses back up, there we go, the reversal actually happened. So you can see that the reversal happened, and we have also broken this 45.50 and the 46 resistance level. So you can look at the green line, look at the green 20 days moving average that indicates the short-term trend. It was actually turning down since like March, April, down. But somewhere around May, you can see that we saw the very good reversal right over here, and there we go, right? The prices rebounded from like about $40 all the way to near 45, right? Look at this, right? The green line up, and then somewhere in June last month we saw a bit of a sell down. Well, the green line started to flatten out, and right now you can see that the green 20 days moving average line, let me just show you, right? You can see the green 20 days moving average line, it is starting to point upwards, right? So that's where we are starting to see some signs of the short-term trend turning from up or in May to sideways in June, and now potentially starting to turn up in July, all right, in July. So I think it looks pretty bullish as long as you stay above the 45.50 or maybe even $46. There could still be more leaks to this rally, all right. Upside targets could be revised. I'm just going to show you where we could revise our upside target. So I think right over here, we can draw a bit of a support level. That 45.50 would now be a new support level, a resistance turned to a support level, and there used to be a support somewhere around there, maybe 43 to 42.50 right over here. So I think we can do a little bit of a projection to see where we could potentially head to, right? From here, right, a bit of a consolidation here as well. You can just project it upwards. So I think upside targets could be revised maybe all the way to $48, 48, and maybe even that $50 psychological resistance level. I think that's where potentially some selling can come back again. So this is DBS, just by me doing what we call like a very manual analysis based on the trend, the longer term trend, of course the short term trend, and us actually breaking some of those very key levels where targets could be revised higher. But what I can do right now is that, if I don't want to do all this, right, and if I'm very lazy, what I can do is actually to quickly, all right, turn on my indicator. So I have this indicator called the One Good Trend Pro indicator based on my One Good Trend strategy. So I didn't have time to explain the whole strategy to you, so you're going to find out a little bit more about the entire strategy and perhaps how you can have access to this tool or this indicator as well. Attend one of those free webinars, right? The link is right below the video. But let me just go ahead to turn on the 1GT Pro indicator right now. So you can see right over here, and I could do it and turn it on any asset classes, any stocks, even the markets as well. But since this is DBS, let's just do it on DBS, right? So let me turn it on, 1, 2, 3, pump, all right? And we can quickly turn on the bullish or maybe even bearish signals that have came out on DBS. You can see right over here, wow, we have now, bullish and bearish signals coming out. So I'll not go too far, but you can see each time we get a bullish 1GT signals. You can see there we go, all the way up, another bullish signal, it starts moving up, another bullish signal that was like in February last year, we got all the way up. And of course, if you get bearish rate signals, then you want to be careful. Like you see, right, we've got a bearish signal, 2 bearish signal, it starts coming down. Even somewhere in March, we got a bearish signal, it starts coming down. But what happened? Let me just go to show you what has happened to DBS in terms of the most recent signals, right? Are they bullish or bearish? Well, we actually got a bullish signal right over here in April. In April, we started to see a bit of a rebound, all right, and also a brand new one. This came out right over here on the 7th of July. So this last week, we got a new second 1GT bullish signal. All right, as I mentioned, right, the short-term trend is also starting to turn up. So that would be another confirmation that we are indeed attempting to push even higher, right? So yeah, I think it looks pretty bullish. This bullish signal is still in play. All right, there's no, bearish rate signal coming out as of today. So now I'm not too sure when it'll come out. It could be next month, it could be next week. All right, but once it comes out, then yeah, maybe we might see a bit of selling. But before that, if it doesn't appear, it's still pretty good to ride, and that's why we could ride more upside to potentially the 48 or even that $50 target. Okay, so now that we have covered DBS, let's dive into the second Singapore bank, and that would be OCBC. Right over here, trading at about $17. In fact, 17.01 right now. So you can see, not too bad. I just turned on, as I say, right, very quickly for any stocks, any asset classes. This is what I do, right? We can quickly turn on the 1GT Pro indicator in terms of the bullish and bearish signal. So I can just turn it on, pump, it appears, turn it off, it disappears. Of course, we want to turn it on. It saves time. It just gives me a quick opinion, all right, whether to buy or sell. Based on the bullish or bearish signal. So if we have a bullish signal, then you're a bit more confident to buy. But if like a bearish signal appeared yesterday, then I think you probably want to wait and be patient. Does it make sense? All right. So let's wait to see. This is OCBC right now. And well, very quickly, I would say that the longer term trend is up. Very gradual, good, strong, consistent longer term uptrend from OCBC just by looking at the rate. 100 days moving average line that's pointing up. The blue 200 days moving average line is also pointing up, I would say, since last year, beginning of last year. In fact, even in 2023, right? So very strong, gradual, long-term uptrend. In the short term, we did see a bit of selling. Look at this, right? A bit of selling, got a bearish signal, came down, even somewhere in like March, April, where we got 2 bearish signals, and we did sell off quite heavily due to Trump, announcement of the reciprocal tariffs, right? But what happened? Well, we got a new 1GT bullish signal coming out right over here on the 17th of April, to be exact, 17th of April. So right over here, 17th of April, we started to push up all the way to now about a 12% in about 2 over months, 12% 2 over months. And I would say that that there is still no bearish rate signal. So now, in fact, it's starting to push even higher, right? And if we look at what we call the green 20 days moving average line, as I say, the green 20 days moving average line represents what we call the short-term trend. So the longer-term trend can be up, right? But the short-term trend can be up, it can be down, it can be sideways, right? So we want it to be up as well. That will be another confirmation that prices are attempting to push higher in the short term. So that would be a good confirmation. So you can see that when we got the bullish signal, well, the green 20 days moving average line was actually sloping down. So not really a good confirmation, but once it starts to turn up, great. That will be a good confirmation that we are actually starting to see a bit of stability in prices, and we are actually forming what we call higher lows. So this green 20 days moving average line, was like up, and it was like flat. But what has happened over the past 1 over week, where you can see that the green 20 days moving average line has started to slope up, something like DBS, right? Starting to slope up, so not too bad, all right? So the longer term trend is up. The short term trend has turned from sideways in June to now up, right? So it looks pretty good as well. And if I can quickly draw this horizontal, there's a little bit of a horizontal resistance at about the $16.50. Look at this, right? Become touch, came down, near it, came down in June, May. But finally, over the past week, well, we've managed to break above this $16.50 horizontal resistance level. So that's not a bad thing, right? So it's a good thing because we're actually attempting to break a resistance to push even higher and to stay above that resistance level. So, if it like goes up and come back down, then of course not so good, but if it goes up, it stays above it, well, it shows that buyers are prepared to buy at even higher prices. It shows that they are prepared to support the stock at a higher price level, and that would be a good thing. So let's see what could be the next resistance where some selling can actually come back. So you can see that for DBS, we actually projected upwards because it was pretty much at an all-time high. But for OCBC, well, we can actually draw another resistance right over here, maybe around that $17.30. You can see that was where we were somewhere in February, right over here. A couple of reversal bearish candles with long upper shadow, and then we started to see that trade lower. So $17.30 is potentially where we may see some profit taking again as we approach that key resistance level. So now it's like, $17 is still like about 30 cents away. So, it does hit to near 17.30. Near 17.30 doesn't mean at 17.30, right? So near could be like 17.22, 25, 28, 24, and whatever, right? Above 17.20. I think that's where some selling could potentially start to come back. So we might just consolidate below 17.30 for a while, and it will be healthy as well, right? We see a bit of a consolidation, maybe up, down, and finally, bam, right? We break 17.30, or we may even see a new 1 GT bullish signal, all right? And targets could be even revised to maybe $18. All right, so this is OCBC, not too bad, right? We got a 1 GT bullish signal that came out in April, still pushing up. Short-term trend have turned up. It seems like we're attempting to push higher towards the next resistance at about $17.30. Okay, let's move on to the third and the final bank, and that would be UOB. And by the way, guys, if you want to get some of my top ideas, right, on a daily basis by WhatsApp for free, click on the link below the video, find out how you can become a VIP client of mine in Philips Securities, where I'm a broker, all right? I've been doing this for more than a decade now, so that's why we share on a daily basis some of the top Singapore ideas by WhatsApp for free, all right? So you get it for free, or there's no additional cost whatsoever. It's pretty much the same as whatever you pay when you're trading anyway. So if you are trading, you need a trading account, right? So you're not getting any service from your own broker, no ideas, no videos, no training, nobody WhatsApp you, nothing. Check it out. Link is right below the video. Find out how you can get some of our top ideas by WhatsApp for free. And we did share a couple of good Singapore stocks over the past few months. All of them have pushed up by quite a fair bit, right? So you don't want to miss out. Check out. Link is right below the video, all right? So let's go back to talking about the Singapore bank, all right? And that would be UOB at $36.78. You can see right over here, pretty strong reversal, right? We have hit it all the way down from like 37 in June, and in May, and then traded all the way down to like about 34.50 in June as the market sold off. You can see, right? And you can see that the green 20 days moving average line that was like going down. And look at this, right? So we got two bearish signals. So previously we got bullish signals coming out. So whenever you see like a bullish signal, that was like in November 2024. Not too bad. We can see that we went from here all the way up to here, all right, about 16% in about 3-4 months, and then bearish signal came out. So bearish signal could guide you to get out and pick some profit. Don't be greedy lah. All right, and so that's for UOB. Same thing, another bullish signal in March, right, in April last year as well, and then we go all the way up, bearish signal starts coming down. So let's go to see what is the most recent signal. Well, it's a 1 GT bullish signal, and the longer term trend is up. Look at the red and blue, they're still above one another. I think they're still slightly sloping up, so still okay. And more importantly, right, I want to put your attention to this short term trend. Remember, same thing for DBS and OCBC, the green 20 days moving average line, we want it to at least, of course, not point down, we want it to at least flatten out or maybe to reverse back up. That would be a sign that the short-term trend has started to turn up, right, from a sideways consolidation. So yeah, I think that has, it's kind of like playing out as well. The green 20 days was like going up, and then it was like sideways, maybe down a bit, and now it is starting to reverse up. Let me just open a little bit bigger. You can see, right, quite clearly, you can see the green 20 days moving average line started to reverse back up over the past 1 to 2 weeks. So not too bad, right? We are actually attempting to push even higher. This bullish 1GT signal is still in play. And if I can quickly draw this resistance level, right, where some selling can come back again, that will be none other than the $38. So now it's 36.78. Maybe a bit of a resistance near 37, right? But I think if 37 to give way, well, 38 would be a critical psychological resistance level, and that was pretty much where we were in February. We neared it, a couple of bearish candles. Same thing in March, we were still below it, we couldn't get above it, and we sold all the way down, right? So I think 38 would be where some profit taking can come back again. This is what we call something like a selling zone, anything near 38. So it could be like 37, 80, 37, 90, 37, 70 something, right? Near 38, right? I think that's where you can also think about locking in some profits. All right, but if we can break 38, great. I think that's where we could attempt to break to a new high. We may even see a new 1GT bullish signal coming out, and that could lead us to raise our targets even higher, maybe towards the $40 psychological level. All right, so this is it, guys. We have covered the 3 Singapore banks, right? Very popular banks that I get asked quite often on: DBS, OCBC, and UOB. So I hope you have a better idea of where we are right now. Could there be more bullishness ahead? What some of the new support levels that have came out? What some of the targets whereby we may see a bit of profit taking? Make sure you watch these levels, right? So as I said, if you want to find a little bit more about the entire One Good Trend strategy, or perhaps how we can have a tool or an indicator like this, my 1GT Pro indicator, attempt of those free webinars, links right below the video. Click on it, register for it, and I can't wait to share with you guys about my entire One Good Trend strategy. Joey here. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you have not yet done so that when we go live weekly on a Friday, we have our Ask Me Any Stock session, you will be alerted as well. Of course, you will not miss videos like this. Joey here, signing off.